What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I hope you're all having a very good day today. I can tell you that I went ahead and started my day off right, just like I do almost every single morning, with a morning workout. How about you? Did you get out there? Did you wake up early this morning? Did the early bird get the worm, or whatever you want to call it? Or, if you're not a bird, do you like worms? Maybe you don't. I honestly don't know. But did you wake up early and get at it? Like I said, if you don't get out there, you're not out there getting on it. Somebody else is. I can almost guarantee you that. So why let somebody give somebody else the pleasure of having one up on you? You might as well wake up early in the morning, get that morning workout, and give yourself a smile and say hello to the world, right? That's what I say. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. I do truly appreciate it every single time that you guys are here. And today we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some MCU talk. That's right. We're going to talk about some rumors in the MCU. Now, I'm not sure if you guys caught that little video we did yesterday over there on the Trailer Park News there. But, we kind of told y'all that we was going to go ahead and we're going to have some predictions for you right now. But, hey, man, if you guys got any predictions of your own, feel free to go ahead and drop them right down there in the little comments section. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate all your guys' feedback here on the Second Street Marvel, man. Because that's what we do here. We listen to our viewers. Well, we listen to them, but that's kind of where it stops at. We're kind of full of ourselves here, so we really only take our predictions seriously. None of them other guys, them clickbaity guys out there. Yeah, we don't do none of that kind of stuff. We're gonna make some jokes about that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I hope you're all having a good day. And yes, there is a lot of news going on out there in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm not sure about you guys, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe is something, I'm sure like most of us, you probably like it as well. I know I certainly do. A lot of people, after the Phase 4 announcement, people were kind of, there were some people not so happy about it, and probably for various different reasons. There are some things that they announced that people don't like so much. I think, the thing that people were most upset about was that new Doctor Strange movie. Everybody's upset about that. Oh, it's not Doctor Strange, it's Thor. All right. It might be that Thor one. But regardless of all of that, one thing I always try to tell people is, like, calm down. Let's wait and see what's gonna go. Let's wait and see what's gonna happen here. Because I could say there's a lot of things that have been kind of said about this whole Jane Foster Thor thing that's getting ready to come on, and now we've got more news coming out that Ryan Seacrest. Come on, guys, I got you. It's that Ryan Gosling is cast to be in the new Thor movie, and that's cool. Whatever. If you guys know me here, you guys watch my channel long enough, you know that I don't. I myself, I don't really care about fan casting. I could really care less about fan casting. I don't care who's cast in the movies as long as they do a good job. And, which I think, I do get that some people do care, they want to see certain people, maybe, and that's the bad thing about fan casting is a lot of people are like, oh, I had this person so set in my heart, and, I'm so disappointed, just, like we've seen with Robert Pattinson as Batman. People are like, oh, it's the guy from Twilight. And that's why I don't really care. You know what I mean? People have been kicking around names like Zac Efron. I think he'd be good for it. I personally think John Bernthal would be a great person to come in and play Wolverine. I mean, come on. He's got that look. And I know some people out there are going to be like, oh, well, he played Punisher. Yeah, okay, cool. Chris Evans has played multiple comic book characters as well. And a couple of them Marvel. So I when I hear arguments like that, I don't know. Just like, I think people were saying the same thing about like Mahershala Ali when he was cast as Blade. They announced that, and people were like, oh, but so does that mean that, like, I guess that means that the Netflix stuff isn't actually part of the MCU? Like, did it take Mahershala Ali being cast as Blade for you to figure that out? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I know it is. But that's just what I do, just because I'm a nerd and I think about these kind of things. But there's a lot of stuff that came out of that Phase 4 slate, and now we're hearing rumors out there that at D23 they're going to announce some they're going to announce like some Phase 5 stuff, which it very well could be. I honestly don't know. I'm not sure that I believe that so much because, I think there's probably a little bit more out there in Phase 4, but I just don't know because I mean they didn't really. I mean they revealed some stuff, but like a lot of those weren't major bomb drops. And are those things that and are the movies and the TV shows that they presented to us going to be something that's going to build to that next Avengers movie? If you caught my Trailer Park News yesterday, you can see I'm kind of joking about some of that. With people were talking about Avengers. The next Avengers movie is going to be in Phase 5. Maybe it's going to go through all that, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems like they have one of those big events in every single phase, right? But neither here nor there. I mean, they can switch the script up anytime they want because a long time ago, before they even came close to ending Phase 3, Kevin Feige said that we're not going to be doing the phase anything stuff anymore. Basically, what we're going to be doing it's just going to be the cosmic phase is the next what they're going into. It's not like necessarily a Phase 4 or anything like that. And and I know a lot of people are gonna go out there and be like, "Oh, we can't believe Kevin Feige. We can't trust the Russos. They lie all the time." And blah blah blah. Fine, cool. Yeah, they're liars. They're liars. They're not ruining their movies that they're getting ready to put out. Yeah, but they're liars just because they don't want to ruin the excitement and the buildup of announcing these movies and getting people on edge about speculating things. And that's the thing. Speculation is fine. I love people speculating stuff. Lately it's been really pretty funny though, because I see a lot of people scraping the bottom of the barrel for their plot leaks or for their movie announcements or Phase 5 slate announcements, stuff like that. Like come on, like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Let's just go with what we know. I'm sure there's other stuff out there in development that they're kicking around and stuff like that. And sometimes I wonder, like, I'm sure some of these people may have an inside source. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just full of it and they just happen to get lucky. Because I mean, really, if you think about it, you're just throwing darts at a dartboard. Eventually, you could hit some things right at times. Sometimes you might be able to hit something right on the target. Right in the bullseye. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard to do because you gotta think this is Marvel based. This is off of kind of based on, and I say that kind of based on Marvel Comics, right? It's kind of based on Marvel Comics. We know these characters. We kind of know the path they've been on. We know some of the things they've announced. We know what some of these things leads to. So for you're not even taking like stabs in the dark at that point. You got enough laid out there in front of you. A lot of us could actually go out there and make predictions and be close to right. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. That's the thing is, a lot of people, some of the people out there, there's some of them clickbaity guys out there that, they, that's what they do. They're taking shots in the dark or stabs in the dark, and people are like, oh my God, like they were right this one time. Oh, okay. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with those clickbaity guys. Man, they got to have jobs too. You know what I mean? I don't follow most of these sites. I don't follow, most of these channels and all that stuff neither. This clickbaity stuff, because I mean, like I'm nerdy enough. Like if there's information out there like that I want to seek out, I'll go and find it. If not, chances are somebody else is going to be talking about it. I don't have to dig too far. But again, that comes down to what? Go find your own sources. Go find your own sources, and that doesn't mean that you have to go out there and find somebody that knows, that works for Marvel or anything like that. It just simply means that all you got to do is go find and those sources who are out there talking about stuff. Because I mean, you can go find like a lot of people go to like We Got This Covered and Looper and all these kinds of things. Just all these ridiculous publications that are all clickbaity stuff. Most of these sites are people who went and read some articles, kind of read up on some stuff, and then eventually just kind of typed out their own little guesses at what's going on and things like that. And like I said, that's cool. People got jobs, are getting paid. Fine. All good. But you know what? You can do the exact same thing. A lot of these websites and publications, you know what they do? A lot of them, what they do is they list their sources. They list their sources in there. You find links and clicks and everything to their where they got some of this information from. So the thing I would say is, if you're gonna look into this stuff, why don't you go find where their sources are? When they list them, go in there, track down their source, read the article that they read, because what they're doing is they're just basically writing what they read, and kind of their thoughts, and maybe building upon that a little bit. But good morning, Maverick Pilgrim. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. But go chase down these sources yourself. You know what I mean? And put your own commentary on it. That's something I was on Friday night. I'm not sure if you guys ever check out my show, The Trailer Park Live. It's kind of a more R-rated version of kind of what I do here on the morning movie chat. But I was there talking about people who do these channels where all they're doing is reading articles, and that's all fine and dandy. People, like I said, people got to make content, but you know what? Like, they're going to some of these websites and putting their own little commentary on it. It's like, okay, but this person is doing what you did. You're just giving basically third. It's not even second hand. You're giving third hand information here. Just go to the same source. Like I said, they list their sources. Go to the same source they went to. Read the actual story where they got their source from, and then build build on that. Damaj and I, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here, sir. But go and build on that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, these guys list their sources. So go check out their source and see what they say. Because you can go out there and see there's a lot of stories out there that are being put out there that people only hear the story from one other person's point of view. You know what I mean? It's just no different than anything that happens in what is it in the news media, you know what I mean, in all those big news publications, is they'll see an interview with somebody, with whatever president or whatever senator or whatever, and they just kind of report on it, but then somebody else sees it and they write, and they put in their 2 cents, and then somebody else sees it and writes a report on that. Go back to the actual source, find out what the actual source said, and then run with that. Give your own commentary. Don't just read me, we got this coverage theory, and then say, oh yeah, well, sounds like a good idea, but I don't think so. Just because that's what I see in a lot of these things. And like I said, go find your own sources. And a lot of times it'll be the same source. Maybe it was an article in Vibe magazine or something that everybody's talking about, or Variety, or who knows, I don't know, whatever all these publications are. But you can go find the actual source, the same source that they're using, so you yourself can look into this theory or this this news story and find out what exactly is going on. Because like I said, there's people out there, and you guys have seen them a million times. They're out there clickbaiting you to try to get you to watch their video and stuff with I would say provocative headlines and stuff like that. And like I said, I have nothing against clickbaiting. Clickbaiting is a good thing. Clickbaiting is how you get people to click on your videos. It's the name of the game here on YouTube. But the thing is people act like it's such a bad thing, and it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just when you get to one of those clickbaity things and they're not fulfilling the promise that they have in their headline or what they're trying to present to you, you know what I mean? The bad clickbait. That's what we're talking about here. So like I said, go and seek out these sources yourself. So that's what I'm saying. We see a lot of the rumors floating around right now. The Russo brothers are wanting to go and direct the next Wolverine movie. I mean, is there anything that substantiated that? Because last I heard, everybody was talking about the Russo brothers don't want to come back until they're directing Secret Wars. So, and it's the same people. It's the same people talking about the same thing, And like I said, that's all fine and dandy, but which story are you gonna run with? I mean, and that's the thing, is they're just running with any story, and just it's just like running through a dry field, with a box of matches and just lighting them, and just there we go. It's just you know what I mean? I don't know. It just cracks me up. But go out and find the actual sources of these things, and certainly when you hear Kevin Feige or the Russo brothers or any of these people saying all this and that, oh, they're liars. I'm telling you, man. They're not liars. These producers and directors, they're not out there trying to run their movie. They're trying to build the mystery. They're trying to build the mystery and build the intrigue, and get you, when they make that announcement, to get you to jump up out of your seat in excitement. You know what I mean? It's just like in movies, the movie making industry. That especially like horror movies. You see so many horror movies these days that just aren't really that great, because part of the thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is, when it comes to horror, you want to scare somebody, it's not what's seen, it's what's heard. You know what I mean? It's not always about what's seen. You know what I mean? A key example is the Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. There's the evil spirit that's coming after him, and all the evil spirit is that you really ever see is just, you hear, oh, and the camera shaking and, going through the forest like it's some sort of evil beast or something. Oh, that's the thing. You don't see what it is, but you can see through the storytelling and the movie shots itself. You can see Ash looking back. He's like, oh, he's scared and he's running because he sees whatever it is that you don't have to see the horror to be horrified. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And that's all these like directors and these producers and all that stuff. They're just trying to build mystery. That's all they're trying to do. Yeah, like for me, like one of the big things is like with the prequel trilogy, Star Wars. Yeah, we're talking Star Wars now. Yeah, that's how far we jump around here. We go from Army of Darkness to prequel. Is like you go when you watch a lot of these movies in the prequels, like you watch a scene in the movie and then in the very next scene you see somebody telling you exactly what the hell happened in the last scene. You don't need that. Yeah, I know. I literally just watched that like 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Again, horror is done kind of the same way. And a lot of these, like I said, these movie producers and stuff like that, they're trying to build the intrigue. But the fun is, actually for us, is the fact that, that they're not ruining it for us and telling us all this stuff, that we actually get to be out there speculating and making guesses on what exactly is going on in the MCU or what it's going to lead to. And if we're right, we're right. Yay. And if we're wrong, oh man. Like everybody's going to call you a damn sham, if you were wrong about something, you're just the terrible, most worst person in the world. You're just a clickbaity artist, You're just one of those clickbaity artist guys who gets out there and, you just put a bunch of clickbaity sites out there, you know what I'm saying? You just like get out there and put a bunch of those, I see all this stuff all the time on like War Stew's channel, on Comic Book Cast 2 and all these different channels. People are like, oh, and I just say those two because those are two of the ones that I follow. I don't really follow anybody else, like Superhero Buzz. But I don't follow any of those other channels like Looper and We Got This Covered and HN and just I just don't do it. It's just not for me. Like those few are more than enough for me. Okay, those few are more than enough for me. Because they're talking about all the same clickbaity stuff everybody else is. But the thing is, and they're discussing it, and that like I said, that's fine. The speculation because. Essentially, all these people speculating everything are the ones that are helping promote the movie, that are helping build that mystery. So the more they tell us, the more it kind of ruins things, if you ask me. The fun in it is the speculation and us trying to guess and all of these things about what's going to happen in the MCU. And I know there's probably plenty of people out there nowadays who don't even care. They're like, oh, the MCU's dead, man. Endgame was my endgame, and that's fine. Because, if you look at it, Endgame was, it was kind of the ending of an era. They've said so themselves, at the studios, so, altogether, I don't know. That's really on you guys, but, if you're ever here and you're watching some of my clickbaity, videos where I'm going into and, discussing theories and stuff, I can guarantee you one thing is, I'm not out there on Reddit scouring for theories. I don't do that. There's plenty of other great channels out there to do like you guys you hear me talk a lot about the Den of Nerds. Josh over there, I don't even know what this dude does. You know what I mean? I don't even know what this dude does for like a life because to go out there and put yourself in the muck and just dig through all that muck in there, through the Reddit theories and all these things we see on the internet with these yeah, I'd rather work at a sewage plant, you know what I'm saying? But he does it. Josh gets out there and he gets knee deep in the shit and he reports. He reports on what he sees. And that's what I love about that channel. If you guys don't follow the Den of Nerds, you should definitely go check him out. Like I said, they don't do any of that clickbaity stuff. They do the same, as much clickbaiting as anybody else does, and to put a provocative headline and get you to click their video. But I can guarantee you that Josh over there delivers on it. And like I said, and then he gives his speculation on exactly what he feels is going on. And as a matter of fact, I've actually seen a few stories that he's actually went out there and said, and like days later, I start seeing all these bigger channels starting to talk about it and everything. Like they're like, oh, I got this report, and like there was one of them recently I seen where somebody was talking about something that Josh at the Den of Nerds had speculated about, and next thing you know, somebody I think it was somebody on a bigger channel actually got this scoop from somebody. They showed their text message on screen and everything. Got this scoop from somebody. We're like, ooh, I got this scoop that says this and that, and I'm sitting there like. Like days earlier, Josh talked about that himself. It was like word for word exactly what he said, like verbatim, like copied. Like they just took a little carbon copy and and except for I guess it would have been of his video, but they put it in text. I think you guys get me. But you know, and that's the thing is because Josh is one of those guys out there, like he's a source that I trust. You know what I mean? I know that he's out there. He's one of those brave souls that's out there digging through the muck to take it and clean it off for you and show it to you and be like, here's what we got and here's what I think about it. You know, those are the kind of things I like, and so that's what we're gonna talk a little bit more about today. People expect new. Maverick Pilgrim says people expect new news on some of these projects that take years to develop. The rumor mills pump out craziness most of the time just to keep their YouTube channels going. Hashtag redneck pirate. The Den of Nerds is legitimate business. Yeah, they are, man. They are. Josh is definitely building something very good over there. I'm a Patreon supporter over there, as I believe you are as well, Maverick Pilgrim. As a matter of fact, I know you are. They're a great channel. I'm a very proud supporter of them. Great content. Like I said, he digs through the stuff and knows what he's talking about. And that's the thing. Like you're saying, yes, is these things take years to develop. So there's no real news. So people are scraping the bottom of the barrel. And again, that's fine. That's fine. You want to talk about speculation and everything. I have zero problem with that because in the meantime we've got something to we've got to talk about something. You know what I mean? Because we're not getting any MCU movies until what was it, March? Is it March coming out of next year? And that's a ways away. So realistically, there's not going to be a whole lot of news happening in that time that we don't know of. Honestly, that we don't know, because really all that we're gonna hear news of is the movies that they announced in Phase 4. That are gonna be those that are going into production and things we're doing there, which is fine because that gives us plenty to speculate on. It helps us give us who we think the villain's gonna be, what we think the plot's gonna be, and that's fine. The thing is like I said, Disney really has to work less at this now. Marvel Studios does, because like they're out there doing their stuff and they're doing it in secrecy, and that little stuff that gets out there, that's us building more hype for the films. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. And the thing is, but you got to realize when you see some of these things out there, like a lot of people talking about the Phase 5 slate announcement and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. I mean, they're already working on it. I'm sure they're building plans. They've got stuff on paper. They have ideas. But have they got anything into production? Is anything set in stone? No, it's not. It's not. Let's worry about Phase 4, and we'll worry about the Phase 5 as that stuff comes, and you'll know when it is. You'll know what it is because you'll start seeing actually more official-looking reports, pictures, leaks, and things like that. So I think that's something that we definitely need to keep in mind when we see some of these things. And again, I'm not bashing any of these people to do that, because I mean maybe their channel is based around theory and speculation, and hey, that's cool. Whatever. I'm not against that. Do what you do. But again, if you're basically talking about the same old thing over and over again, I mean, you can only make so many Black Widow videos. You know what I mean? You can only make so many Doctor Strange videos. You know what I'm saying? Until you know more. And that they probably don't even have that in production yet, but people are gonna go out there and make videos about it, which is fine because that's what I do here, and that's what we're gonna get ready to go ahead and get into right now. So if you guys have any theories going on, like I said, we've heard enough about Phase 5 getting ready to happen. People are now starting to talk about Avengers again. People, like I said, they're talking about Wolverine. The Russo brothers come in to direct all that, and we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of that real quick. And I'm going to give you some of my speculation. I'm getting ready to come in for some of these things coming up, and I've talked about several of them before. But without a doubt, let's go ahead and get into some of these things. Now, one of the things is a lot of people are starting to speculate about Avengers 5, basically, and what it's going to be. And, we're talking about Secret Wars here, right? Isn't that what we're ultimately talking about? People are saying, like, oh, Secret Wars. And I think that's a very, Secret Wars, I think, is a very legitimate rumor to probably give some sort of weight to, for a number of reasons. We know that they're going into we're getting ready to head into the cosmic phase of the MCU. Kevin Feige has said that himself, so we know that they've been building that. They put Guardians of the Galaxy out there. More of a cosmic quest. They got Captain Marvel, and they've kind of been building this new Avengers team at the same time. You know what I mean? They have. We got Captain America handed off the shield to Sam. We see they brought Captain Marvel in. We got the Guardians of the Galaxy there, and I guess we're gonna learn more about that. Thor is still there. They brought Spider-Man in. They brought Black Panther in. Okay. So New Avengers is actually highly plausible, and it being Secret Wars is highly plausible because they've already said that we're going more cosmic. More cosmic means more what? More space, right? And who better than, like, right now, even in the comics, I know in Black Panther they've been going cosmic. I guess they've been out in space doing some crazy stuff, and they're in Wakanda. They have the technology for that kind of stuff. I mean, if Tony Stark has the technology to get the Iron Man suit to function in space, what do you think they got in Wakanda? You know what I mean? So I think it's very Guardians of the Cape. Yeah, don't get me. I've never done any of my ranking videos for the MCU, but I need to because I've got some stuff to say when I do my ranking videos, so you guys can see exactly why I rank some of them where I do. I'm not a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I mean, those movies are pretty good, but again, I'm still one of those people out there who says they should have just let James Gunn go and let somebody else come in and direct number 3. That's just me, though. Some people love the guy to death for, because they love him. Kermit, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate it. Black Angus Reviews. Appreciate you being here. Whack Honda. Whack Honda. Maverick Pilgrim says, maybe that's why Disney Plus is so key to the future of the MCU. It can keep the fire stoked for an event like Secret Wars. And that's exactly the truth. That's exactly what I wanted to say here was that whole Disney Plus thing, and even Young Ripa 59 was talking about this a while back. That's what a lot of people are underestimating these TV shows. You know what I mean? And Disney Plus streaming shows. That right there is like a huge game changer for Marvel Studios. Like there's not another. What other studio out there has done that? There hasn't been another studio out there that's done like crossover events like that. Like MCU kind of did with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff a little bit, in a few episodes. But that's a huge game changer. They have an ongoing series where if in the middle of production they want to change something, the direction of something, they can do it right there. Just right there, just like at the snap of their fingers. They don't have to worry about waiting for another couple years to change something, to introduce something. They can do it right now. They can build things in that universe to keep going forward. They can start introducing mutants in through the streaming service, through WandaVision. We obviously know that something's going on there. Do we know what? No, but, it seems like it's funny because we don't see enough people speculating about that when there's so much that can be done there. And, we see that they're getting ready to, obviously they're going to bring in mutants. They're going to bring in the X-Men and things like that. And, I did a video on that back in February talking about how they're going to bring the mutants into the MCU. And it's still something I completely stand behind. But at the same time, at the time, I probably didn't know that they were going to be doing a streaming service and having some of the shows that are going to tie into that. I can't remember if I really went into that speculation or not. But yeah, and that's the thing, is they can build up to Secret Wars that way. And here's the reason why I think we could easily be heading into Secret Wars, because my other prediction is that if we're not heading into Secret Wars, we're heading into Civil War 2. Okay, they've done everything to set up Civil War 2. Absolutely, they've set up. I've talked about this the other day. Is they've done everything. They've done everything. Just about everything to lead up to Avengers Standoff. This was a little event that happened, the Assault on Pleasant Hill. They've done everything out there in the universe to lead up to this. Okay, now if you don't know what the Avengers, the Assault on Pleasant Hill was, basically what happened is Maria Hill was actually in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time. They went and they made this prison in like this little town, and it was all enclosed and everything. It was a prison, but what they also did was they made a prison for people's minds, and they basically brainwashed people with Kobik. Okay, Kobik is the cosmic cube. Okay, the Tesseract essentially in the MCU, and she basically changed their realities. Kobik changed their realities to get these bad guys to believe they're a bunch of good guys, and they were in this small town and they never wanted to leave. They were happy and content in their lives. Now the thing is they've done everything to lead up to that, because Avengers Standoff leads to Civil War 2, leads to Secret Empire, stuff I would absolutely love to see on screen for a lot of reasons, and I've gone on about that before, and I can go into that. Maybe I need to actually make a standalone video on this stuff, because it's a little easier than sitting here where I start rambling on and on about stuff. But the thing is, with the Secret Wars, they've actually led up to that. They've alluded to it, aside from just announcing that they're going cosmic. Okay, the one thing I absolutely see nobody talking about, this particular scene, as a matter of fact, it's like a particular line at the very end of Spider-Man Far From Home. And I'll get into that in just a second. I want to say what's up to everybody else here on the live stream. Wakanda Russell Benjamin says, "Hey, made it on the live stream. Welcome, Russell." Black Angus says, "How's Arrow, the anime Marvel? She looks hot." You know what? The book is actually pretty good. I've still got to get through. I've still got to read issue number 2. It just came out last week or the week before. It came out 2 weeks ago. I've still got to read that one and Swordmaster issue 2. They were both first issues were really good. I like them, and I hope they continue going in that direction with those. Sorry, work's been busy today. Oh, no problem, man, no problem. Aggressively Relaxing says, I would love to see some of the cast in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. make it to the MCU. Also, really want to see the Iron Fist in Shang-Chi. That would be great. But they do have that thing with Iron Fist that he can't be in the movies for X amount of years. But the thing is, by the time Shang-Chi comes out, that 2 years might be up. Second Street, your thoughts on my Black Panther video from, I think, December. Oh man, I have to go back and check that out. I can't remember. I have to go back and check that out. Alligators greater than turtles. Shellback, welcome to the stream. The more time, Maverick Pilgrim says, the more time that passes, these shows that seem really random when announced look like they are really tied together. Still not sure how Hawkeye fits in, but we'll see. Definitely. And I'm telling you, that's a game changer what they've got there. Aggressively Relaxed says, Arrow is suspicious, an architect that has the power to destroy buildings in her super fights, right? It's just like damage control, bro. It's just like damage control. You know, they talked about that in Homecoming. They need prison reform in the Marvel universe, right? They do. Russell Benjamin says, Wanda messing with reality. Do I hear Super Iron Man for a possible if what or Superior Iron Man? Could be. Definitely could be. Drunk 3PO, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get into some of this speculation and why I think we could exactly be headed towards Secret Wars. Okay, at the very end of Spider-Man Far From Home, there is and believe me, guys, okay, I want to show you. You know, some of these people out there, you know, they take a lot of their speculation seriously and stuff. Never take somebody seriously who drinks keto coffee, all right? Bulletproof coffee. Don't take us seriously. Just wanted to put that out there, because remember, if you're doing keto, it doesn't work unless you tell everybody out there in the world that you're doing it. Okay, now, moving on. Yes, there is this line, very particular line, and in case you don't pay attention to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're not a speculator, you don't build your own theories or anything like that. Here's the thing, you know, if you're not a nerd like me about these movies, everything that they foreshadow in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they do so in movies in like the most mundane conversations. It's like a little one-off line that absolutely nobody ever thinks about, and next thing you know, like something pops up on screen like, whoa, that's a callback to... Yeah, okay. There is a scene at the very end of Spider-Man Far From Home where Talos is talking to Nick Fury, and where do we see Nick Fury? Nick Fury is in space on a Kree ship, we're assuming? Okay, because we see he's surrounded by Kree and stuff like that. Skrull ship. And you know, Talos is there, and he's talking about the Kree invasion and stuff like that. And you know, people are talking about, you know, maybe that's the secret invasion instead of, you know, reverse being the Skrulls. Well, let's not forget. And at any time, you know, like there's still radicals within the Skrulls. Not all the Skrulls are good guys like Talos is. You know what I'm saying? So there's still bad Skrulls out there. So don't think for a second that secret invasion still can't be happening with the Skrulls. And also, let's not forget, you know, that it very could well happen with the Kree as well, because there are pink skin Kree. Now, a lot of this actually would play into... there's a lot of things at play here. But the thing is, there's this little throwaway line that Talos says to Nick Fury while he's talking to him. Because he's talking about... they're talking about, you know, like him messing up and giving the kid the glasses and kind of some of the stuff that they went through. And Talos specifically says to him, this line nobody's talking about, he mentions the Avengers. He goes, oh, well, you know, when people start asking about the Avengers, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, you know, about where they're at. Right? Think about that. Nobody's talking about this. When people bring up the Avengers and ask where they're at, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Think about it. Okay, so he don't know what to say. Talos has an idea where they're at. He knows where they're at, more than likely, right? But, you know, what is he supposed to say? He don't know what to say to people. He's asking Nick Fury, what do you want me to say? And Nick Fury, obviously knows where the Avengers are at and what they're doing. And what Avengers do we have left? I mean, aside from Spider-Man, who we know was there on Earth at the time, if you ever watched that Spider-Man cartoon that they did, I think it was Spider-Man and the Sinister Six, he was kind of in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. while Nick Fury was out a lot of times. Let's not forget about some of this stuff. But they're in space. Let's think about we got Thor, we got Captain Marvel, and Black Panther. He could potentially be in space with all these heroes as well. Who says that he can't be? So could Scott Lang, right? I mean, they have. At this point, they have the technology to have spacesuits and all of that stuff that they need to survive while they are in space. So let's not forget that. But this little throwaway line just has me thinking. There's just so much context to it that nobody's talking about. What am I supposed to say? Like he's asking, like, what do you want me to say? Because he knows that they're not there on Earth. And Nick Fury is out in space. Why would Nick Fury be out in space other than to keep space, to keep the Earth guarded while they're, from space? Kind of like Alpha Flight. Was it Alpha Flight that they were up there in this, or when Sword was? I can't remember. I'm not completely up on all of that lore, but I can tell you they had the space station out there, especially like during Civil War II, that was basically safeguarding the planet. Okay. So if he's out in space, the Avengers are out in space. He's asking them, what am I supposed to say? The Avengers are out in space. They are out in space doing something. And what are they out there doing? Okay. Who else have we seen built up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that has something to do with space that might actually bring upon the Secret Wars? Okay. Now I believe in the comic books it was is it the Beyonder? No, it wasn't the Beyonder. Was it the Beyonder who set forth the basically kind of like the little contest that drug them all into the Secret Wars and everything. And again, I haven't read all of this stuff. I haven't even Wikipedia'd it. It's just stuff I've kind of read about, the story and everything when it comes to the Secret Wars. But the thing is we already know that the MCU don't follow what happened in the comic books. And the thing is we already know the Collector. We never seen the Collector die. You know what I mean? People out there like, oh, but he got the stone from Thanos went and got the stone from him, and we see him. Okay, that was all projection, man. That was all projection. Thanos manipulated reality there, and they clearly showed that he was manipulating reality. So we never actually seen him kill the Collector. You know what I mean? We never actually seen that. And so maybe Thanos has the Collector out there, or maybe the Collector is alive out there somewhere. For all we know, the Collector could be out there doing like some of Thanos' bidding, be in there, in good with Thanos. But we also have, who else? We've also got the Grand Master. And what's the Grand Master like to do? That's right. We're talking about a contest of champions, right? We're talking about getting people and making them fight. And that's pretty much what happened in Secret Wars. I mean, the people were engaged in this battle, and not everybody was always on each other's side the whole time. And that's the thing is, they put them in these situations where they have to win. So who's to say that the Avengers aren't actually in space fighting in the Secret Wars as Far From Home was happening, because the Collector and the Grand Master have somehow managed a way to manipulate things to get all of the Avengers and Earth's mightiest heroes into space for that battle. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Let's go ahead and get here into the live chats to see what everybody else has to say here. Sorry I'm late. Russell Wells Benjamin says, so I see your green screen back up there. Let's have that chat about your trailer park news. Yeah, man, let's go ahead and have a little talk about that. You know what I'm saying? We can go ahead and do that, Russell. He's on a ship that is believed to be Sword, and exactly, and that's the thing, is they're out there observing things in space, and that's exactly what leads me to believe that the Avengers are out in space, probably taking part or getting ready to be in Secret Wars. And the thing is even though Peter Parker's still on Earth at this time, he can still get into space. He can still get into space and take part in that. End up coming back with the symbiote suit and all of those kinds of things. And really, if we think about it, that's kind of what he's already got, is a symbiotic suit. We've seen even in Avengers like Infinity War, the suit kind of acts on its own. You know what I mean? We even seen that in Endgame. We see that the suit kind of acts on its own sometimes too. So I mean, he's already kind of got something like that in the first place that kind of acts on its own. So to do that wouldn't be too far-fetched. Now the thing is, the tricky part is with the symbiote suit is, him coming back with that would be the fact that it's Sony stuff, and they've already got their Venom stuff built out there. I mean, that means they're gonna want to play more ball with that. And I'm not saying that that's unimaginable, but the thing is I believe they are already actually out there in space, fighting in this war. You know, because like I said, they make mention in the movie like the Avengers aren't around. So we know they're not there on Earth doing stuff. And you know that's pretty much what Far From Home pretty much sets up, is that they aren't there. I mean, who else did we see? We only seen Happy. We only seen Happy, and he's not an Avenger. We didn't see any other heroes in that movie. All we seen was Spider-Man. So this just kind of, you know, for me, just kind of further reconfirms the fact that they are up in space on a mission. And what other mission would they be on in space, if not for to go fight in a war and end up in the Secret Wars? And the thing is they have everything to lead up to that, going on with the TV shows, the TV series, and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me, but that's kind of what I think when it comes to that kind of thing. Because I definitely think that, you know, this is the one speculation, when it comes to the next, you know, these next phases or the next Avengers movie coming up, that I think is highly plausible. Secret Wars definitely sounds like a perfect movie, to be the next Avengers movie. And then, you know, speaking about Secret Invasion don't even have to be an Avengers movie. That could easily be Captain Marvel's next movie, which is something else that I would kind of like to touch upon, because, you know, there's so much talk out there about, you know, Captain Marvel, and okay, maybe there's not. Maybe there's not, but the thing is, you know, and I've talked about this multiple times. If you go and watch the Captain Marvel movie, you know, it's supposed to be an origins movie. You know, we get her origins and everything, get introduced to the character, but we don't learn anything about her. We don't learn anything about her origins. Now, recently in the Life of Captain Marvel series, we come to find out that Carol Danvers' mom was actually a Kree warrior, and she was on Earth because she was here kind of to scout it out, and they were looking for I believe they were looking for a particular weapon. But I'm not sure that they were necessarily looking to conquer the Earth, but maybe more see if they were a threat. And so Carol Danvers' mom was actually on Earth, and that's how Carol essentially was part Kree, and that's, you know, I guess they kind of alluded to that's somewhat what helped her survive the blast and everything. But regardless, her mother was a Kree warrior, and that makes me think, you know, because in that Captain Marvel movie, we didn't get any of her origins. None of that. We seen was her father. And man, do we even really see her brothers in those flashback scenes? That's what I said. We didn't get anything regarding that. So to me, I'm wondering, and like I've said, maybe I need to go write a short little story idea and submit it to Marvel. But, you know, there's a lot of things that they did wrong in that movie. A lot of people who don't like it just for some of these mere things that they did. So for all we know, perhaps, maybe her mom could have been that Kree warrior, and they could still introduce us to the actual Marvel. And when it comes to, you know, like that being Dr. Lawson was, you know, was basically that was. That the Kree warrior that was there, you know, looking out for the Lightspeed engine and everything. Maybe it could be that was actually her mother, and she didn't know better because they messed with her memories. You know what I mean? And we actually end up meeting Marvel. You know, they can go back. Let's not act like they don't retcon stuff in movies. So they could actually bring him in and, you know, at least correct that course and pay some homage to the source material and give us Marvel. And that actually brings a little more context into what we didn't get in the first Captain Marvel movie. And then that all still plays into what we would get out of a Secret Invasion or even Secret Wars movie. And I think these things are highly important. And, you know, a lot of people, I think, just don't take some of these things into consideration. These little throwaway lines that are out there. You know, and like I said, I'm telling you, man. I think this rumor about the Secret Wars is highly plausible. Like I said, there's that line out there nobody's talking about when he asks about what he's supposed to say when, you know, people ask about the Avengers. Let's see. Kermit the Log says most of them can survive in space without special suits. Well, like Black Panther can't, Scott Lang can't, Hawkeye couldn't, Falcon couldn't, Bucky couldn't. Like really, the only ones we have right now would be Valkyrie, Thor, and Captain Marvel. Essentially, I mean, Korg couldn't necessarily. I mean, from another planet, but he can't necessarily just like fly through space. And I don't even know, can Thor survive in actual space? I'm not sure. because we never actually see that. We never actually see him fly through space. We only see him use the Rainbow Bridge, which we could see through. We could see through Thor Ragnarok that he gets kicked off the bridge and goes, well, and I guess he survived that. I guess he survived that too. Basically falling through space, and then onto the trash planet, Sakaar. So I don't know. In Captain Marvel, we can obviously see that she does, but she can survive anything, right? Except for a punch from Thanos with the Power Stone. But I guess she survived that too. She just kind of got the wind knocked out of her. Maverick Pilgrim says, I think Black Widow is going to be the sleeper movie for Phase 4. It's the first film in Phase 4 and seems like backtracking, but I think it will somehow set up Sword in some way. And I think you're definitely right. Andrew Miller, welcome to the live stream. I don't think I've ever seen you before here, man. Thank you so much for being here. Just sitting here kind of flapping my gums about a couple of things I think could be coming up here soon. Russell Wells Benjamin says Fury has been working with the Skrulls since the 90s. The Black Widow movie may extrapolate on this and give us more knowledge of what Fury is up to with the Skrulls in space. Definitely. I can't deny that at all, and I think Black Widow could definitely do that because we already see when she's introduced in Iron Man 2. Nick Fury already knows her. Nick Fury already trusts her. It's not even a question for him, So we already know at that point that she's been working with him for a while. So yeah, I mean that's highly possible, and we don't know exactly when she started working with him in the MCU neither, and kind of what led to that. But my guess is, we obviously see that Clint helped bring Hawkeye, helped bring her into Shield when he was, I believe he was sent on a mission to kill her. And whether that was for Shield or not, I don't think they really ever said, but he made the decision not to and brought her in because he thought she would be a valuable part of the team. So we don't exactly know when that is, but I believe that was in Budapest. So we're definitely going to learn about Budapest in this movie. If we don't, something's going on. Something's going on. And you know what? I just got to say before I really go on to anything else while we're talking about Black Widow, I think it's an absolute shame that we don't have the Soska sisters directing this movie. If there's anybody else who should be directing it, it's definitely them. They should have wrote and directed this damn movie. And that's all I really can say about that. Is it should have been the Soskas. Should have been the Soskas. Maybe we need to hashtag that. Should have been the Soskas. Maybe we should start that one. Let's watch the movie and see first. But regardless, should have been the Soskas. Maybe Maverick Pilgrim says maybe Bruce Banner is on that same ship with Fury, and it very well could be. And that's what I'm thinking. Because we know, like even Russell Benjamin says we know that he's been working with the Skrulls for a while, been working with them, and how long has he been out in space for? That's what we don't know. When was the last time we actually genuinely seen Nick Fury? And my guess is going to be that it hasn't been that long ago. That end credit scene there in Infinity War. I still kind of question that one. Whether it was actually him or not. That was the one who dusted away there. And I did a video on that, on Maria Hill being a Skrull. And lo and behold, look what we eventually find out. So yeah, I mean, how long has he been working with him? What have they been doing that whole time? And even then, like I said, a lot of people were disappointed about Secret Invasion with the Skrulls being good guys. Can there be one now? And absolutely, like I was saying, it's very possible that there are, there's obviously still radical Skrulls out there who feel strongly about things and probably don't like Talos and the fact that he's been working with the humans and Nick Fury and Shield and the Avengers and all that stuff. I can guarantee you there's people out there who are against that because as we can see in anything, in any walk of life, there's going to be opposing sides. I mean, it's called balance. Good, bad. I mean, it's out there. It's a thing. So, and that goes obviously with the, even the Kree Warriors too. Just because their whole thing, in that movie when they were on Earth, I mean, they were really just after, the light speed engine. And they may not have had good intentions with that neither, because in case you don't know, you don't follow the comic books, the Supreme Intelligence actually went out there and set up a plan to destroy the Kree. to destroy their own people, right? To basically force evolution so they could become more superior, because basically like their evolutionary scale had plateaued, and they apparently thought there was more potential. So that's kind of what happened. Like the Supreme Intelligence went out there to and destroyed their own people. So that's could have been what the Supreme Intelligence was seeking out the light speed engine for. You know what I mean? So we still don't know what's going on there. And now we got all these supposed branch realities. I mean it's really hard to say with the multiverse, but I'm just really gonna hope that they're not playing too much on the whole multiverse thing, because obviously we all know that time travel, multiverse, and all that stuff can really make a mess of things. But that's not to say that it hasn't still affected the timeline that we're in. Like I was saying, we see in Infinity War that Thanos didn't actually kill the Collector. Who knows, that maybe he put the Collector off somewhere else, maybe united him with the Grand Master, and that kind of sets things into motion. Thanos wouldn't have been all-knowing at that point. He wouldn't have been omnipotent. But the second that he had the gauntlet and everything, he got the Time Stone and all that, and he was full on. He had all the 6 stones. Who's to say, at that point, because he's got time on his side too. Who's to say that whether he went back and actually changed events in the past, he could have just went back to a point and enlightened himself at some point and said, hey, look, this is what's going to happen in the future. I already know this because I know all. I know all that's going to happen. So just go on about your business, but just know that these events are going to happen, and what you need to do is get these people set up so we can bring these people into space, just all of these different things, and set everything up. I'm telling you, like Thanos we didn't even see what Thanos did with the damn gauntlet aside from the snap. You know what I mean? He could have done any number of things, because if you go back and watch the cartoon or read the comic books, he basically knew everything. He was omnipotent. He is the time. What was it? What did he say? The time is a. I can't remember how they said it. Like time is a flat line, or time is a. I can't remember, but. The whole point being is he can see through all of time. He can see through everything that's coming. So all he has to do is at any point in time, it doesn't even have to be a version of him that has the gauntlet. All he has to do is go back and tell him at one point, like, look, this is what's going to happen. You need to know this. Trust me, I already know. Look, I got the gauntlet. I got these stones. You need to listen to me. Here's what going on. Here's what we need to do. Because in the end, he's probably still out there trying to mess stuff up. Even though he's already been killed in a certain reality, does not mean that there's not a version of him out there who's still out there creating chaos. And that's the thing with a lot of these films and things like that, is you just don't know. And that's why hopefully they're not going to play on that too much. But at that point, we already know that it is possible to jump through to different times and different realities. So and that's not even talking about realms. We want to talk about the 9 realms or anything like that. I mean, it's not even to bring anything up about those. Kermit says hashtag should have been the Saskas. Yes, it should have been. It should have been. But yeah, so like I said, that's just some of the speculation I've had, and I think some of that could definitely play into a lot of the movies that we've got getting ready to come out in the in the Phase 4 of the MCU. Which, like I said, maybe they're not. This Avengers movie isn't going to happen in Phase 4. It could easily happen in Phase 5. Who says they have to have a really big kind of event like that in Phase 4 anyway? I mean, obviously it would be smart to, but we can see with the integration of their streaming program, I mean, that's like a huge game changer. They can do pretty much anything they want to at any time. And I highly believe that they are going to be introducing the mutants through this means. Like we see the WandaVision thing getting ready to happen. Who's to say that, I've talked about this thing before. Instead of the House of M, where she basically kill all mutants, no more mutants. Maybe we get like the MCU version, which we know would be the reverse version of that, where instead of destroying all of mutant kind, maybe she actually creates them. But maybe it came at a different time or at a different reality where they were branched off somewhere else. But if you've actually been paying attention to the Jonathan Hickman run that he's been doing right now, the House of X and Powers of X, we can see what's been going on in that comic book. They've kind of been revising history and things that have gone on with the X-Men, with the planet of Krakoa. It sure seems to be that Krakoa has been there this whole time. I think it's Krakoa that they're their separate little world where you have to be a mutant to get into, or you got to have basically permission to bring them there. Who's to say that maybe and I'm telling you, this is pretty sloppy in the first place, that mutants were actually there. Xavier may have actually been there at some point in time, and they actually made Krakoa and had every time that they were coming across mutants, maybe they actually went and tried to scoop them up and be like, hey, look, this is going to be happening. The humans don't like us. We can see that they already have problems with superheroes and superpowers. They're already having that problem with. They already see the threat of just these other alien factions coming into these other cosmic beings coming into their planet. So if they see us, these mutants, we need to have our safe place from which to operate, to where we can go back and forth to the Earth and help save our own kind, because we know in the end all they're going to do is try to eradicate us. And I think and I'm not saying that the comic books are going to 100% happen like this in the books, but we see the comic books, they draw off of the lore of the comic books. And, a lot of times they take some of the lore and they toss the rest out the window. That's neither here nor there. That's an argument saved for a different time. But the thing is that's what we see going on in the House of X and Powers of X right now, is where they've kind of been there and they're not revealing themselves so much. Like people there know about them, things like that, but they're in their own safe haven, where basically they can't be touched by humans. Humans just cannot go without their permission. So I think that's something we could very well see coming to the MCU very, very soon. Andrew Miller, again, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I've never seen you in here before, but I do thank you for being here. Let's see what you got to say here. He says, I think Thanos coming back in a certain capacity would be cool, like the way Red Skull came back, but he's a main villain that's too derivative. Yeah, and that's the thing is at this point, I think it would be great if he came back, and here's the thing though, is whatever version of him could come back. It could be a past version, it could be a future version of him. After he's already been omnipotent, he could have, like I said, he could have at any time went to anywhere and filled him in on some side. He could have went to a reality where he told himself like, hey bro, chill. I'm in this reality now. I got this gauntlet with all these stones. I could tell you everything that's going to happen. I could tell you every scenario that's going to happen. You know what, dude? Like, you can be who you are and be this overpowering, all-conquering person, but not seek out these stones so you don't gain the attention of these certain people that are going to try to put an end to you. And so he could be going about his business in a low-key way and still not be a formidable enough opponent to get them to garner their attention. So essentially him being, because we can already see that he is defeatable. Without the gauntlet, he's defeatable. That doesn't mean that he's still not a formidable opponent, but will he be that big of a villain? No, I don't think so. But could he be? Yes, he could. Like the Red Skull. Red Skull is one I definitely want to see come back more. For one, obviously, he's a great bad guy anyway, with Captain America and everything like that. And I think we're going to see more Captain America coming up. But like I said, Red Skull is a tricky one because, like I was even talking about, the assault on Pleasant Hill here is like the whole Secret Empire, like the whole Cap becoming Hydra thing. That was all caused because of Red Skull. Red Skull was trying to basically get Captain America to be Hydra and to be on his side and fight for him, and it backfired against him still. Captain America is Captain America no matter what. He still overcame all that, overthrew the Red Skull, basically, I mean, killed him, and still took over Hydra because he believed he was Hydra and all of that stuff, and it turns out it wasn't really him. I'm not really going to get into that right now, but the whole point is all that stuff could still happen. It's all potentially there. But again, so is the Thunderbolts, and I still say that so is the Avengers Standoff, because we already see they've had some of these bad guys imprisoned. We've already see they've got them in prison, and we can see they've got the technology to put them in that same type of. They've been experimenting with the Cosmic Cube, essentially with the Tesseract. We already know they can do these things. They've already led up to it. So all of these things, I mean, they kind of tend to play into the fact that, I mean, they've got any number of doors open to them. But let's take a look at exactly what they got. And I think one of the huge things they've got is that Secret Wars. We've been hearing about it for a while, thoughts, rumors, plot leaks, and things like that out there. But I've got, like I said, I've got to give a lot of weight to this one because they have done everything to lead up to that. Especially, like I said, with this little throwaway line in Spider-Man: Far From Home, and we, Trinity, you're looking too far into this. No, I'm not, because like I said, everything that we've seen foreshadowed in the MCU is in these little mundane lines that we see sprinkled throughout these movies. So, yeah, but Red Skull and Thanos coming back would be great. Don Draper, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here, sir. Maverick Pilgrim, interesting theory about Sword. It could plant the seeds for it. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, and I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on is the Sword thing is actually going on, because we see S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been around for a while. You know what I mean? S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been around for a while. I mean, there's still kind of an underground faction of them, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra as far as, most people are concerned at this point. They're pretty much shunned upon. I mean, that's kind of how it is. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, with the sword thing, totally. I completely agree with that. Maverick Pilgrim says the Avengers movies drive normies to see the other movies. I think it's too big a cash opportunity to give up a big event like that, especially with the X-Men flip this year. Yes, definitely. But now my thing is, will the X-Men will any mutants actually be in the MCU by the time we get that next Avengers movie? I've got to say so. I think so. Like I said, I think with that WandaVision, what's going to be happening in the Doctor Strange movie, I think a lot of that's going to play into it, and I think a lot of that's going to play into introducing some of the mutants getting ready to come up into the MCU. Like I said, I did a video back in February, talking about how I think the mutants should be introduced into the MCU and how I kind of think they will be. And I did that video, and like I said, most of that, I have to go back and watch it again myself, but I think most of that I still stand completely behind, in the fact that I think, just like they did the Avengers, they're going to have to build up to it. Give us some solo movies, or even with the streaming shows, give us a couple of characters, introduce us to a couple of mutants in the universe. You know what I mean? And then, maybe another movie, introduce us to a couple more, and then a couple of more, and then all of a sudden you get the X-Men movie. Because, and I've talked about this before, the X-Men are some very, it's a very compelling story, because, and I think you got to do it that way, because whether it's Professor Xavier or Eric Lensher himself, we see that they're on opposing sides, but I mean, they still essentially have the same kind of ideas. They just have different means about going about it. One wants domination, one wants integration, right? And that's the thing. But they're still kind of on the side of mutants, both of them, and that's the thing. And this is the same kind of divide that we see everywhere. But the thing with the X-Men, whether you're on the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, or you're one of the X-Men, whether you're one of Professor Xavier's X-Men, the thing is all of these people have good, compelling stories as to what side that they're on. All the bad guys on Magneto's side, they have reasons why they're on his side. You know what I mean? Same thing with the good guys, and we can see just with the X-Men, some of them even struggle with it. Some of them struggle with being on the side. They're like, man, are we doing good? Like, is what we're doing good? Like I get it, but at the same time, and we've seen a lot of these stories in the past where good, like some of the X-Men go from good guys to the bad guys, and go from bad guys to the good guys, and that's the thing. So to introduce, to do these things before they actually do a full-on blown X-Men event, I think the X-Men will probably be one of those events that's exactly like the Avengers was, where they've gave us a build-up, where they've introduced these characters to us, maybe not necessarily even gave them their own solo movies, because I think that's where introducing, if they do like a mutants movie, like whatever movie that may be, introducing two at a time is the optimal way to do it, because you get the two people who probably come into each other's lives, who make friends, or maybe they're oppositional to each other, and they either come together or split apart at some point, and that's where you get your full-blown X-Men movie, where that divide starts to become real, between that fight for mutant kind. And I think that's something that they're definitely going to be building on with these with a lot of these TV series and things like that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, to give up the big event, I mean, there's got to be a big event coming up in Phase 4 that they just haven't mentioned. I mean, it's got to be there. I mean, every single phase has that in it. There isn't a phase that doesn't have those big events in it. And we can see phase 3 has 2 of them. You know what I mean? We see phase 3 has 2 of them. So, and that's not to say that there's not bigger events within, but there's, because like Civil War was, I mean, that was actually that was a pretty big movie that was in a solo movie. It's still a pretty big kind of event because there's a lot of characters and things like that in it. So, I definitely believe that that's how they can and probably should introduce the mutants and the X-Men into the world, and like I said, I think that might be the event that we're gonna get. That might be the event that we're gonna get. Maybe they introduce the mutants in the Doctor Strange movie, and maybe some of that, a lot more of them get introduced through WandaVision. I mean, it absolutely could be coming up that way to lead to that event being the X-Men in the MCU, or who knows? I mean, what else out there? I mean, what do you guys think? What else out there could there be besides X-Men? Could it be, are they going to go X-Force first? Are they going to do something like that? Or are they going to do, like what? I mean, what do you guys think they could do there? Because to me, like I said, I think the build up, introducing mutants and then doing a full blown X-Men movie would be a great idea, just like they did the Avengers. Because again, the X-Men are a team of different people who came together, and they just like the Avengers, they all came together for a common cause. So I think there's definitely something to doing that, for sure. Maverick Pilgrim says, by the way, I can't get my hands on any of the new X-Men comics. I really want to support some small shops, but no one has them. Really? That's pretty crazy. You know what I would do is, if you got a local comic shop near you, I would go in there and just get it on your pull list. Start a pull list and get them on there. But if you want any Maverick Pilgrim, I'm not sure where in the United States you might be located, but I can guarantee you my comic shop has copies of them. If you want, I can get a hold of them and send them to you if you want. If not, I mean, if you like me, you like the to have the physical copy. As I say, I could you can always get on like Comixology or even Marvel.com and order the digital versions of them. But again, for me, I like having that physical copy in my hand. I don't know. I feel good. I feel good about that. Having something physical, tangible there in my hands to deal with. I'm not really into the. I mean, I'm down with the digital stuff, digital downloads. I'm down with the streaming and services and all that stuff. But I still like my physical media. But yeah, if they're, I mean, like I said, get a hold of me, Maverick Pilgrim. If you can't get a hold of them, I can surely get a hold of those through my local comic book shop, and I can get them sent to you if you want them. Aggressively Relaxing says, I would love to see the leader show up from the Norton Hulk movie. The leader. Which one? You're not talking about? Obviously, you're not talking about Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, I know you know what you're talking about. So the leader show up from the Norton Hulk movie. You're not talking about, oh man, what's his name? The doctor who the stuff spilled on, and or he took some of the stuff too. And man, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. No, he wasn't the leader, was he? He became, I can't remember who it was he became. But yeah, and it's really hard to say. A lot of where does that Norton Hulk movie stand at? Do we really count that as canon? I think we do. But if you go through and watch that movie, I think that movie actually kind of counts Ang Lee's Hulk as canon, as like it actually happened as well. So I always wondered about that. When it comes to that Ang Lee Hulk, does that count too? Because, like I said, those opening credits of The Incredible Hulk, it seems like they treated it as such. You know what I mean? Because we didn't really get a whole lot of that backstory. It almost assumes like you've seen that first one too. I don't know. Tricky stuff. Maverick Pilgrim says, I think there will be mutants, but no X-Men. At least not until phase 5 or 6. Very, very well. I mean, I believe that too, because like I said, I think they've got to build up to that. They've got to build up to it, like I was just explaining, like they did the X-Men. Like, we need a couple of solo movies, but these movies wouldn't be solo movies. It would be, I mean, maybe it's more centric around one particular character, but you get two, because like, say you did a movie about Professor X, you're not going to do a movie about Professor X without adding Eric Lenscher in there too. So and I think a lot of that goes kind of goes hand in hand in introducing, bringing some of those characters and the mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think they're definitely going to build it up something like that. And like I said, phase 4, I mean, it's possible they could, but I mean, WandaVision and even just like I was saying earlier, and the Doctor Strange movie, just doesn't seem like it would be enough build up to that. even with the TV shows, I don't think it'd be enough to build up to do it in Phase 4, just like that quick. Unless they have, like I said, and they very well could have a couple of other films for Phase 4 that they haven't announced. But if you really look about it, people are talking about, like, there's not much to Phase 4. And that's the thing people are forgetting is, in this Phase 4, we got what is it, 1, 2, 3 TV shows? 3 TV shows that they can do anything with. And you don't know how huge these things are going to be. You know what I mean? They can do a lot with these TV shows. Like I was saying earlier, they introduce characters. They can sprinkle all the seeds out there for what they're going to do in the movies. Like I said, these streaming service that they're bringing in, it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and absolutely, like, everybody's talking about how huge it is, how big of a deal it is, how cool it is, but nobody's really talking so much about how big of a deal that is. Nobody else has ever done this. You see, nobody else has ever done this. They've got the TV shows, they've got the movies. Yeah, I'm just like, the integration is absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I think there's too many people out there speculating on these movies and everything, getting ready to come up in these phases, that is so underestimating all of these TV shows. And what they kind of what they imply. I mean, there's a whole lot out there that could be coming out of these TV shows. And like I said, I don't think anybody has really touched the tip of the iceberg as far as speculating on what these TV shows mean. Like I said, I did one of the shows where I was talking about the Falcon and Winter Soldier one getting ready to come out. I talked a little bit about the, maybe about, like, the WandaVision and stuff like that. Like, I'm telling you, these, and the Hawkeye one, Loki one, I think Loki is probably the one that people are kind of speculating on the most, because he's going through time with the Tesseract, and we don't even know necessarily through time. And people are talking about how's he traveling through time if he's just got the Tesseract. But you got to remember one thing is, or the Space Stone, with the Tesseract is, bending space. I mean, space and time, they kind of go hand in hand. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about time travel theory, but just being able to bend space and move through space like that, I would say says a lot to being able to, not necessarily about time travel, but in that same sort of realm of possibilities. I mean, just kind of blows the door wide open. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody's underestimating those TV shows, hugely underestimating them. War Stu, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here, man. Confirmed. It's confirmed. What's up? What's up, bro? Your click hate videos get me every time. That's funny. Oh yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out Worst, you go check out his channel, man. He does a lot of speculating, a lot of commentating on the things coming out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know you go to his page, there's plenty of people out there trolling him too, but you get that on any of the basically on anybody that's out there speculating on these videos. Everybody's saying the same stuff on there. So yeah, go check him out, man. Worstu's a pretty and he's a pretty cool guy, man. If you guys don't know, you haven't ever followed his channel, you just think you don't like the guy, just go talk to him, dude. He's a pretty cool cat. Like Worstu, man. Let's see. Maverick Pilgrim says, actually acknowledging Professor X. It's going to be a while, I think. Yeah, probably so. And it's hard to say how they're going to how they're going to do it, because like, to say, just like with the Fantastic Four, to say they've gone this far into the MCU, and like, if they're going to kind of do this retcon thing to bring them in, like, I just can't buy that. I can't buy into that. And to say that they haven't been around this whole time too, just, I don't know. But they had to start somewhere. You know what I mean? They had to start somewhere in the MCU, and it just I know there's going to be a lot of people disappointed if a lot of Reed Richards' kind of ingenuity and genius kind of basically comes kind of at the behest of Tony Stark and the Starks and S.H.I.E.L.D. and just all the stuff that they've been doing, because we all know that, dude, Reed Richards is a smarter guy than that. You know what I mean? And Victor Von Doom too. So like, if they're going to go back, if they're doing any of that retconning stuff, it's just going to be a hard thing for people to swallow, let alone they've got their challenges set ahead of them for introducing them into the MCU anyway, and in any kind of real fashionable way for what's happened so far to what's going on forward. You know what I mean? Because, man, they're definitely treading some tricky waters right now, and it's going to be rough for them to do. But Kevin Feige hasn't really wholly failed us yet in that kind of storytelling aspect yet. So I'm looking forward to see what they've got going on. And like I said, the MCU's dead to some people. It ended at Endgame, and hey, that's if that's how you feel, cool. I'm not against that. We can see it at some point. A lot of things in pretty much any franchise kind of start to get watered down, seem to kind of die out. I'm one of those people. I'm hopeful. I hope that everything is still going to be going forward full steam ahead, and they continue to pump out good movies. I mean, they haven't wholly disappointed me yet. Just the more I come in contact, the more I get exposed to more of the comic lore and everything, the more I kind of get disappointed. But a long time ago, back when the X-Men first came out, the first X-Men movie, I realized after that movie, these movies are never going to be like the comic books. They're just not going to do it. It's never going to be 100% like the comic books, which I'm okay with too, because I don't want to see just the comic books just translated on screen. That would be boring for a lot of us, I think. Now, there are some of these stories that I think would be great to see on screen, though. But again, I mean, like a shot-for-shot adaptation doesn't have to happen, but they can still pay those respects to the source material through these movies, and that's easily done, and they've done enough of it. I think they just need to pay more homage to the comic books and in some of these movies, in some of those respects. Danny B, welcome to the stream. I'm not sure if I've ever seen you here before, but thank you for being here on the live stream. Danny B says, looking forward on how they will introduce Namor in the MCU, most likely in Black Panther 2, and how they tackle his backstory. He most likely won't be a mutant, or will he? And that's the thing. Like I was saying, I'm not sure if you may hear through that. I think they need to introduce mutants through some of these other means, whether that's some of the TV shows or some of these other movies, before they build to that big X-Men movie. Similar to how they did. The Avengers, but certainly could they introduce him in there? Yeah, they certainly could. I mean, because he's Namor's home isn't far from Wakanda, so that being the case, and plus there was that little map in Iron Man 2, where they showed all that stuff. So of Namor being introduced soon, it's really hard to say, but I remember there used to be kind of that talk, and I've never really looked into that, about who actually owns the Namor character. I'm not sure if it was Fox that owned him, or who it is that owns him, to know if we're really going to get him. And maybe I need to look into that one of these days. I'm sure somebody probably has, and if there is, let me know, because I don't know. But yeah, and again, like the antagonist in Black Panther 2, man, it's just so hard to say. And I'm not as familiar with Black Panther from the comic books neither. So, but obviously, Namor has been basically been at odds with the Black Panther in the comic books before, so I think that's definitely something that's highly plausible. And again, and that's the thing, is we see throughout a lot of the comic books too, that somebody who is an enemy now may not necessarily be your enemy. But does that make them your friend or your ally? Not necessarily, because everybody in the end, as you can even see with like the X-Men, and the mutants, that everybody kind of has their own side that they're fighting for, regardless. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, Professor Xavier really is kind of more about integration, where you could see that Magneto is more about dominance and basically segregation, and saying the mutants are the dominant species here, and we're the ones who should be ruling this stuff. And if you want to stop us, well, please go ahead and come try. So I but Namor, yeah, I mean it's hard to say. And does Namor have to be a mutant? I don't know. They like to change things up in the MCU, so that's really the ultimate hard thing. But hopefully they don't. Hopefully he wasn't bit by a radioactive fish or something and becomes Namor. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, I mean he easily could be. It's really hard to say. And I mean, since they really haven't. And again, this comes down to the speculation and with some of the stuff I was talking about earlier. Some of the stuff they don't even have in production. They don't have, they've just know, like, okay, we're going to do a Black Panther 2. Nothing has been done for this movie. So for us to really speculate on it yet, once we know a little bit more, I think that's what we'll have more to go off of. But again, the speculation is always fun to do. Maverick Pilgrim says, I really want to get the book. Man, I may take up you having to ship. That would be awesome. Yeah, and like I said, let me know because I know my local comic book shop has all. Of the, I'm pretty sure I've seen all the issues available still there. And like I said, if you're in the United States, I'm in California. I'm in Southern California, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not for sure where you're at. But yeah, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. You can even get a hold of me. You can find my email here on YouTube as well on my about section. So yeah, let me know, man. Let me know. It's really not a problem. Worsty says, let's hope they're building up to Avengers of the Supernatural. That would be cool, and there's been a lot of talk about like Dark Avengers and things like that too, and just everything they've done. I mean, it's all possible. I mean, there's a lot of doors open, and like I discussed here today, for me, they've already led up to they've already built up to the Secret Invasion. They've built up to Secret Wars. They've built up to Civil War 2. I mean, all of the toys are there to play with. They've already sat them out. It just really kind of depends on what Kevin Feige's gonna do, man. God bless you, Kevin Feige. Godspeed, man. I appreciate you, Kevin Feige. But yeah, that would be a crazy, like the super with going like the supernatural elements, definitely. Russell Benjamin says Maverick, try the Comixology app. Yeah. Unless you prefer having a hard copy. Yeah, and that's the way I am. I like having the hard copy. And that's one thing I like about Marvel Comics. That's one of the things they do right, definitely, is they still have that digital code in their books, so I can have both. I like that because I like to have that physical copy where DC stopped doing it and they said they were going to do it for like some of their, kind of bigger events or something like that or bigger issues, but I still haven't seen it. And for me, I like the fact that they do both, and that's the cool thing about buying the physical copies in Marvel is because they give you that digital code for the digital download as well. Um, Aggressively Relaxing says Norton Hulk trained with Rickson Gracie, but never did any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Ragnarok, so it might not be canon. Huh? Interesting. Interesting. I did. I have to go. I haven't watched that movie in a while. I need to go back and watch that. So yeah. But yeah, hey man, good observation there. Um, yeah, that would be cool. Maverick Pilgrim says, "Yeah, looked into the app, but I kind of want the book. My kids are starting to get interested in comics, and it's nice to have something to pass down. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, get a hold of me, man, if you need me to. Um, uh, Russell says, bro, just leave it to War Stew. All he does is speculate. Yeah, he does. He does a lot of speculating, and yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that because I mean that's what we're all here for. A lot of us are here for anyway, is to speculate on things. Now, sometimes there's outrageous speculation out there, but we see some of the people out there. I mean, they're going with pretty outrageous stuff too. Even like some of the stuff I've already presented, it's pretty outrageous. But again, to me, there's all the pieces there for it. It's just can we pick them out and see what exactly they're going to do? Because we know we can go through the comics and speculate with the MCU and the comics, but we know that they don't follow exactly what's going on in the comics. Like I said, for me, they've already led up to. Well, in here, let me show you why I also believe the standoff could be a big one. Look, who is that right there? It's the Mighty Thor. It's the Mighty Thor. So, and oh, who else? Who else is that? That's Sam Wilson, Captain America, and who's that? That's Old Man Steve Rogers. That's Old Man Steve Rogers. And I got to tell you, and through this series, it eventually happened in Civil War II, which happened right after this. Tony Stark, he didn't get killed, but he fell into a coma, and he basically lived through an AI system. Like Iron Man was still out there being run by an AI, Tony Stark. So all these things, I mean, they've really built up to all this stuff. And yeah, that's what he does is speculate. I mean, he's not a comic book Warstew's not a comic book commentator. Like I kind of am. I mean, I talk about comic books and stuff. But obviously, if you're here on my channel, you probably know if you want to know about comic books, you go to somebody who really knows their stuff, like Rob over at not Comic Historian, but Comics Explained. He knows his stuff. Comic Historian. Those dudes know their stuff. And if there's anybody that like really credible people as far as comic books and the speculation of what's going to go on to the MCU. I think those are definitely two channels that you probably already follow and watch anyway when it comes to some of that. But yeah, Worst Dude does a lot of speculation. His channel's built around that. There's nothing wrong with that. He's certainly a lot better than some of these other dudes I see out there, and I've already talked about them at length, and I don't really need to say anymore. Avengers of the Supernatural is coming. All right, well, are you gonna do a video about it, Stu? Are you gonna do a video about the Supernatural Avengers? Let's see it, man. Let's see it. Wow, cheers for the shout out, dude. Thanks. Yeah, no, man. You know I'll be watching your channel, dude. You my boy, Stu. Shellback says, still kind of lurking. Just want to say hail to the chat one more time. Well, thank you very much, Shellback. Thanks for being here. Russell Benjamin says, bro, so here we go. My theory for the next Avengers movie. People are debating New Avengers and debating between New Avengers and Dark Avengers. I think we will get both in the same movie. Right. Agreed. I will 100% agree with you, because that in itself becomes the divide, and then where does Earth fall in all that? You know what I mean? And between the New Avengers and Dark Avengers, that really only plays into exactly what I've been talking about with the Avengers standoff leading into Civil War II and those kinds of things as well. And it could very well be part of Secret Wars. That's the beauty of it, and that's why I absolutely believe yeah. And in the same movie, by all means the same thing, because people are going to start looking at like who's the Avengers, which Avengers do we take sides with here? The New Avengers or the Dark Avengers? And chances are, just like I was talking about with the X-Men, chances are there's some of like the newer Avengers or Avengers that are currently Avengers now might be part of those Dark Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, for that to go down in the same movie, yes, definitely. Yeah, agreed, Russell. I believe that. Probably titled New Avengers, but hear me out. After Far From Home, the world is looking for the next group of heroes. Yes, exactly. And like I was saying, I think the Avengers that we currently have are out in space. Because we see Nick Fury's out there in space, and Talos Ashton. Like I said, that's a throwaway line that nobody's talking about from the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. People don't trust Shield or even Spider-Man. Yeah, and Shield, nobody's trusted Shield for a long time, and that's something tricky that plays into like Secret Empire and everything leading up to that too. Is because at this point nobody trusts Shield, and what happened in Secret Empire was Hydra started taking over, and what Hydra do through that, I'm not sure if you read the comic books, but in the comic books throughout Secret Empire, basically what happened was Hydra was in there. Hydra infiltrated the United States, which they're already in anyway. They actually went into local communities, small communities, and were funding books for schools, giving money for schools, giving money to people. Government handouts, essentially, is what we're talking about here, okay? They were essentially doing that to gain people's loyalty, to get people to say, ooh, Hydra's not so bad. They're good people. Like, you see what they've done for our community? What has our government done for our community? That's exactly what they did. So yes. You're building a house here, Russell. You're building a house here. Russell, do you have a channel? I'm gonna go check you out and see if you have a channel, because you should have a channel doing some of this speculation. Because yeah, you're 100% right. Perfect opportunity for Dark Avengers to try and take the mantle while while New Avengers is formed to stop them and take it back. Exactly. And what are we talking about here aside from even Dark Avengers? We're also even talking who would all be involved in that? Like Shield, Hammer, AIM, it's just because everything's such a mess right now. I could see that, the Thunderbolts, it's all there. It's all there. And plus, we know we already got Zemo in captivity, and that's kind of what makes me think, like, with the Pleasant Hill and all this stuff, like, I think they're going to mishmash all this stuff together. Like I said, they're already bringing in Mighty Thor, they're already bringing in the Jane Foster Thor, so every single thing here, like, none of this speculation to me is even wild-haired and wild-brained. It's all completely possible. And I've got to get ready to go, guys. But man, I've already gone on for an hour and a half. I've got to get ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get here through the chats here. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Russell Bells, Benjamin says maybe another 2-part movie. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be great. And they could build up to that. Andrew Miller says, "I think the snap and the exposure to the raw power of the Infinity Stones, like Wanda and MCU, not Quicksilver, will cause a lot of those who have returned to develop mutations leading to the X-Men." Andrew Miller, yes, agreed. Absolutely, 100%. That could happen. It's not unimaginable, and I think a lot of people have speculated about that. The same exact kind of stuff is definitely not out of the realm of possibility for that happening. So I mean, a lot of those people that return from to Peter Parker's school it could well in fact be mutants. Tracy Woody, good morning. Thank you so much. I got I got to go to work. Have a good day. Well, you have a good day as well. That's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to go ahead here and end the stream here in just a few minutes and go about my work day. I've got to go head out to Tehachapi today and deliver some nuts. Russell Wills Benjamin says, "Rob, that Comics Explained is great. Amazing understanding of comic books." Yeah, and because he's been doing it forever. Like, I just got back into reading again just a little over a year ago. But like I said, I've dove in and I've read so many comic books in that amount of time. But Rob, like, he's been invested in this like his whole life. Like, I was like when I was a child, I hadn't read for about 25 plus years, and I'm getting back into it now. But yeah, he's definitely Rob over at Comics Explained. I mean, he's a dictionary. He knows his stuff. Shellback says, "Have a good day, everyone." Well, you have a good one as well, Shellback. Maverick says, "I gotta jump. I gotta jump in actually watching while I'm at work." Oh, no problem, man. Catch you later, Second Street. Have a good one. Thank you for being here. And Andrew Miller, thank you for being here as well. And again, that's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in for an hour and a half and watching me flap my gums. I normally save this for the Trailer Park Live when I'm going to try to go that long. I try to keep these down to about an hour, and I've really got a lot of stuff I've got to get done. See, and that's the thing, man. Dude, that's how big of a nerd I am. I'm sitting here talking for an hour and a half about this stuff, about this speculation, man, and I only planned on doing an hour. But if you go back and watch some of my Trailer Park Lives, especially some of those first ones, they're some of my longest videos that I've ever done on the Trailer Park Live. And it's just, and like, I really had nobody else in the chats at that time, and it's just me flapping my gums about stuff, man. Like, I'm super nerd. But I'm sure there's others of you out there who are just as super nerdy as I am. And you know what? The world needs us. If at any other time, the world needs us. But again, that's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so you get notifications and all of that other good stuff. I do these live streams just flapping my gums about movies for an hour a day here during the week. I do my comic book pull list. I do the Trailer Park News like I just did yesterday. If you guys didn't check that out, it was a lot of fun. Always fun making some of those funny videos for you all. But if you could also do me a favor, make sure you give this video a like or give it a dislike. If if you don't like this video, it's all good here. But if you could also make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel, because we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you in the chats and see what you all have to say. Again, thank you all so much for being here today. You all have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you all in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to check out some Black Guys and a Drunk tonight at that's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are on the East Coast. Some Black Guys and a Drunk over on Drunk 3PO's channel. Make sure you check it out. Always a good panel of people coming together to talk about just about things going on in the world today. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.